talk with our faculty that we're representing our different programs and schools. Now we have our faculty panel, so this is going to be an opportunity, even if your program isn't listed here, still a great opportunity to get some information from a faculty perspective about expectations in class and outside of class, those types of things. What does the would a course layout look like, whether it's 8 weeks or full term, those types of things. But we'll start off. I'll just have our faculty panel. If you'll just give a brief introduction of yourself, name, department, anything else you would like to share.
Hi, I'm Dr. Greta Creech, and I am an assistant professor in the Department of Intelligence and Security Studies. I teach at the graduate level. I teach courses in Russian psychological warfare, as well as teams and organizations within national security, and also the introduction to intelligence and security studies.
Hi, my name is Dr. Brittany Kane, and I have been at the Citadel for 8 years. I am an associate professor of literacy education. I teach teachers how to teach reading and writing. Yay! I'm currently the program coordinator for that program, and I've been all over the School of Ed. So welcome.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. David Preston. I'm the General Mark Clark Distinguished Professor of History here at the Citadel, where I have been happily teaching our cadets and graduate students for going on 21 years now. I'm also the program director of our Master's in Military History program, and I'll say much more about that, of course, in due time. I specialize in American military history with a particular emphasis on the early American period, so the time of the American Revolution, and currently writing a book on the leadership of George Washington.
I'm Dr. Mark McKinney. I'm the department head for the Electrical and Computer Engineering department. I've been here for 27 years now, and I'm the program coordinator for both the undergraduate and the graduate programs within the School of Engineering.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Todd Drew. I'm the program director for the MBA program in the School of Business, and I teach courses in management there.
Okay, thank you all. Hopefully what will be a informative question, but also not too difficult for my panel. What should a student do to prepare for graduate level coursework? And you can all answer, or
coming to me. Okay.
We'll start on this end and work our way down.
Okay. I think off the top of my head, what I would say is think about your how you're going to manage your time, because what I always tell people in our course, our graduate studies are online exclusively, and so in some ways that's a benefit. But the other issue is that, there sometimes can be accountability issues if you don't manage your time well. And so almost always graduate students are working. And so I would say, give some thought to what block of time every day that you'll be able to dedicate to your schoolwork, studying, doing writing, whatever you need to do. And maybe give some thought to how you might be able to do that consistently. And also what strategies you use in your daily life to hold yourself accountable, and how that will translate into your academic work.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I would echo that. I think what I would add to that is that many of our students come to education after having been not in higher education for a while. And sometimes there's some intimidation and some fear, right? Like, oh my gosh, I forgot how to write an essay, or I don't remember this and I feel overwhelmed. And I think you should give yourself some space to feel overwhelmed, because that's natural and a normal part of the process, but don't stay there, right? I think the sooner that you can sort of get a hold of it in a practical way and say, wait, no. I absolutely know how to do this. I've been in the working world for years now. So in fact, I'm better prepared than I ever was. And what I'm going to do is just be really logical about it, set aside time to do it, and get it done. I think that I see a lot of students sort of struggle initially because it makes them nervous and because the online format is new and all that. But one of the advantages of the Citadel is that we're small. And so we can help you with that, right? If you're struggling with Canvas, oh man, we have so many people to help you with that. Don't stay there.
Yeah, I concur with my colleagues and everything they've said thus far. Really, the only thing I would add is yeah, just make sure that you're counting the cost of graduate study in terms of your life and vocation. I think there's probably a difference too between the humanities programs, which tend to maybe be more reading intensive versus the engineering program. I'd let, of course, Mark talk on that. But yeah, that's really, I think, all that I would add is make sure that you're creating that margin in your life, that you have that margin to be able to do graduate study, but also trust your preparation up until this time. I teach largely working professionals, many of whom are in the military, and they are wildly successful prior to even coming into the program. And so trust your preparation and development.
Yeah, and this is the downside to going forth, and you're going to have an even harder time. Is everything that's been said is spot on. It's really making the time to do this, and being able to dedicate the resources, and your resources are, our time and energy, and being able to dedicate those to what needs to happen, because the material is the material. We can't dial that back because our students don't have the time to do it. And but to that point, to what Brittany said, is we're small. This is a small institution. We understand that you're a working professional. Most all of our graduate programs are, it's not somebody who's just going to grad school like you would see at Clemson or Georgia Tech or someplace like that. And so as such, we're all dedicated to being very student centric. And so don't, especially with the online modalities, don't be afraid to reach out to your professors. Don't be afraid to drop us an email and say, hey, I'm confused about this. I don't, and it's real easy in an online environment in particular to feel like you're doing this all on your own. Nobody else is doing it. And so just reaching out and using the resources that you have available to you, which are plentiful at the Citadel. So yeah.
Building off that, there are plenty of resources available to you online in the catalog and various websites. And one of the things you might do before you even start your first class is to read through all those and begin to bookmark key pages, even basic things like the course offerings page and things like that are available, the forms page in the registrar's office. When your advisors send you an email, and again, we like to really interact with our students here a great deal, and that includes even before courses begin. So program directors and advisors will send you email. Your instructors will often send you a welcome email to the course and talk about what textbooks required and a little bit about the course. So save those things, read those carefully, save those things, understand your rights and responsibilities, and how to get prepared. It'd be super great if you showed up to the first nanosecond of an online course with access to the textbook already, and you'd be ready to roll.
Dr. Drew, we'll stay with you since you mentioned advisor and to the whole panel. But what exactly is your role as an advisor?
Well, in a big picture sense, is to make you or help you understand what you need to do to be successful. And so we can help explain program policies, resolve questions you have with individual instructors or approaches, talk to you about a plan to get through efficiently and effectively through the entire program. Not mentioned a lot are our advisors have a great deal of practical experience at the Citadel, perhaps more than any higher ed institution I've been with. And so your advisors are also there to discuss career-related issues and plans for future education, those kind of things too. So I'd plan to get to know your advisors and find out what they can do in your situation, and find out in what ways that relationship can help you build to bigger and better things in your career.
Would anyone else like to answer that question? No?
No, I think that.
Yeah, I think it was a great
That's a
answer. Yeah, I
great
was gonna say,
answer.
there's
It's, you
not
know,
much you
it's,
can add to that.
you know, and you know, right. The biggest thing is, you know, to your point, the advisors, we're the ones who are, you know, we've been doing this a while, most of us. And so we know the ins and outs, we know the pitfalls, we know the things to avoid, we know the things to you know, who to go talk to about something. You know, if you're struggling in a class and not necessarily just with the material in the class, but you're just struggling, you've got something going on in your life and things like that, you know, talk to your advisor, and they'll be able to point you to who, you know, they're your first point of contact. Is really the biggest point of all this is, you know, they're your first point of contact when you need anything here, and they can tell you, go talk to the registrar, go talk to, you know, the provost, go talk to whoever, go talk to the department head. And so, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Next question, you know, probably on a lot of folks' minds. Can you give us some examples of where your recent graduates are employed, or maybe promotions that they've received, that type of thing?
Okay, that's me. So in the military history program, as you might imagine, a large percentage of our students are active duty military, reserve, or guard students. And one of the things that this master's degree does for our military students is that it helps with promotion. Beyond our military students, we've had several students who have used the master's to enhance their professional development and movement within the museum world and public history. We've also had students through the MA gain new positions in teaching, both in the military and in college university positions. We've also had a few students go on to PhD programs in military history or related fields. And so those are just a few examples of what our students have done. And I'll pass it on to my colleague here.
Yeah, we love to talk about new employment opportunities in the School of Education, because that I really do believe is one of the high points of our programs. We actually boast several school superintendents who came through our Ed Leadership program. If you look at Charleston County, Dorchester District 2, Berkeley County, Beaufort County, leaders in all of those districts came through our programs. So we are really proud of that we really have been one of the huge support systems for new educational leaders in the region. In literacy specifically, if you want to be a reading interventionist or an instructional coach, come see us. Right now, schools have a huge shortage of teachers for students who speak more than one language. And so teachers of multi-language learners, you can get certified with us, and that will be amazing. There aren't as many shortages in school counseling in Charleston County, but there are shortages all over the state. So we're one of the few school counseling programs around. So really, we have been a pipeline for leadership in education since the grad school opened in 1964, and we are still going strong.
It's really interesting in our department because we have such a diverse student body. When they come in, they're teachers, they're soldiers, they are business people, but then they all seem to have some desire to go into some kind of national security job. Now, we're intelligence and security studies, and a lot of our students come in wanting to be part of the intelligence community. But the national security is much bigger than that. And so there's been a little bit more diversity coming in the last couple of years. I have a student right now who wants to be a diplomat. So she wants to go work for Department of State. And I have I have a couple of intelligence officers, people already working in the community. And then one year I actually had a student that already had a PhD in music. In fact, he was in candidacy getting his PhD in music, but wanted to go work for the intelligence community. So he was getting a master's degree in this. And so most of our students coming in wanting to do something in the national security framework, but boy, the students coming in are from all over the place, so don't feel intimidated if you're interested in this topic, because everybody seems to be eligible, because it doesn't matter what you do now. I think it's probably true for education as well. It doesn't matter what you're doing right now, it matters where you want to go.
So in the engineering world, the job market is very good for students getting their master's degree, or we've got several probably students watching this that are also getting their undergraduate degree, which we offer in the evenings here. And we have, in engineering, we boast 100% employment rate. For our master's program, though, which I'll talk about for just a couple of minutes. Our master's program is really kind of unique because it's a broad-based master's, and it is taught in the evenings. There's an online option for it. And we've got 4 courses in that program that allow you to get your engineering leadership and program management courses, as well as your master's in engineering. And so with that, you end up going through our program and you end up with your master's degree and a PMP certification. And those two combined, we've seen students, you asked about promotions, and that's the easy, one of the easiest ways to get into the upper management of whatever company you're working for. And if you look in the Charleston area, the engineering landscape has changed dramatically over the last decade with Boeing and Bosch and Mercedes and Volvo, and we've always had the defense industry here between NIWC and all the support agencies with that. And then in the power industry also, the Citadel's got a very long history of putting lots of engineers into the power industry as well. So in all of those fields, you'll find Citadel grads, and going through and getting your master's degree is one of the best ways to move up in those organizations.
In the MBA program, we have a lot of individuals who want to do really one of 4 different directions in their future. One is to move into leadership roles where they've been an analyst or a professional staff member, and they have this interest in moving into larger scale operations or project management or department head kind of roles. And these individuals will often need graduate degrees in larger companies to make that transition. And over the years, I've noticed nothing's worse for me as an advisor in higher ed than to see people call me up and say, how quickly can I get my degree? Because they just found out there's a promotion opportunity and it's coming up in the next 90 days. And so the advice there is plan for that in advance of the opportunity, because there's a lead time to earning your graduate degree. And you just really never know any given day what opportunities having a graduate degree will open up for you. And that goes for any of these programs, really. You just don't know when the opportunities are going to occur. So prepare yourself for them. And then a number of our graduate students want to move from staff roles in organizations or leadership roles in organizations to starting their own companies. And so there's entrepreneurial courses and business planning tracks and that kind of thing that they can pursue to establish their own companies more efficiently. We have a number of executives that get toward the end of their careers and they want to give back to society in a different way. And so those individuals will earn their graduate degrees so that they can be qualified to teach in 4-year programs or at state colleges, things along those lines. And so that's kind of a fulfilling opportunity for them, given what they've already accomplished. And then finally, we have people that want to go into consulting. They've got a lot of experiences. They want to apply those experiences in a different way, have more control over what they do and the hours that they put in. And so those individuals get a graduate degree to prepare for consulting roles.
Thank you. Last question. Describe what success in a class looks like at the graduate level.
I think one of the the joys of teaching in the military history program, which is a fully online 30-hour course that really harnesses two things that make the Citadel distinctive: our long history of producing principal leaders, both within and without of the military, and also our dedicated focus in the history program on military history. And so I think one of the joys of teaching in this program is that we have an incredibly diverse student body composed of usually military officers, maybe senior NCOs. We have corporate leaders. We have people in the three-letter agencies. We have museum and public history professionals, educators, as well as just people generally interested in military history. And it's an incredible group of just raw talent and life experience. And so one of the ways that we uniquely harness that potential is through a remote graduate seminar that we conduct via Zoom. And what this allows students to do is to interact directly with the subject matter experts. Zoom also enables us to consult as a seminar with, for example, the authors of books that students are reading, or distinguished experts in the field whom we can invite to the remote seminar. And so I emphasize that as a real hallmark of the military history program. And it also is something that helps to build a sense of community among the students. I think I speak for all of my colleagues here, whether they have a face-to-face program or an online program, that the Citadel Graduate College really does create a sense of community among the students. And that's really remarkable to behold, especially for our online program where students are scattered all over the world. And it never ceases to amaze me, the sense of community that develops. And so I think that's a measure of success right there, is the sense of community, the network, and then also, as I mentioned, the fact that students are not just taking some rote online course going through modules by themselves. They're interacting with their professors, they're interacting with each other.
We do the same thing. We have a synchronous and asynchronous component to our online instruction, which, for all the reasons Dr. Preston just mentioned, is fabulous for community building. But the thing that I think really gets to the heart of this question about success in graduate school is that I think sometimes in undergraduate, you're sort of led into a world in which there's a multiple choice question, right? And one of the answers is correct. And that's what you're supposed to do. And I think that when we move into graduate school, we say, no, you're in a professional space. Yes, you're supposed to know that there's some ideal world out there in which B is the correct answer. But that ideal world doesn't exist. What are we going to do? Right? And so we really do try to usher you into a place where you are going to be a professional leader. You are going to make decisions for other people. And there's not a right answer. I hate to say it, but that's not real, right? We are adults now. There are multiple right answers that make sense in a given set of circumstances. And you have to puzzle through that. And we do that together. You do it with your professor, you do it with your colleagues. We do a lot of group work, right? This kind of thing. And that really is one of my favorite things of teaching in the graduate school, is we're making that transition, right? So many students start out and they say, oh, I just want to get the right answer. I say, me too, but it's not out there, right? And so I do think that there's sort of a shift in mindset where it's like, okay, I recognize now that leadership is a scary place, but it's also such an amazing and creative place, right? And the Citadel is going to prepare you for that amazing, intellectually stimulating, creative place. And let's go. Let's do it.
Thank you.
I think that one of the things that is kind of an aha moment for me is when I see students develop to the point where they are starting to challenge themselves and they're starting to teach me. When they're starting to make me think of things in a way that I hadn't thought of them before. In particular, in some of the coursework that I teach, many times people will come in with preconceived notions about certain political issues or certain intelligence issues. And when I get to the end of the course, and I've had this often enough where students say to me, I had no idea this was true. I had no idea this was really going on all this time. That is a wonderful moment for me because it shows the depth of their learning. But I do a lot of writing in my classes. Like most coursework in social sciences and humanities, you're going to have to read a lot and you're going to have to write a lot. That's just reality. And I can look at their work over time because they're writing for me every week. And when I see them not only develop as scholars in the way that they write, but also develop as scholars in the way that they think about the world and adding to the body of knowledge, which sounds really scary, but believe it or not, at the end of at the end of the course, you will be that person. That's what I know. That's when I know that they have succeeded because it's not my success, it's the student's success.
So I'm gonna kind of echo off of something that that Dr. Kane said, and that's getting the students to the point where they really start to recognize and it's really actually what both of you said, that they start to recognize the multiple layers of things. They start to see, oh, this is more complex than, and it's really kind of fun for me to be up here listening to education majors and intelligence and history majors, basically saying the exact same things that would be true in an engineering program as well, because you think, oh, well, this is just a bunch of problems and you solve the problems, but it's really not. It's getting students to recognize that the problems are actually much more complex than that. And every time you make one thing better, you're going to make something else worse. And where's that balance and doing that kind of analysis and that much higher level thinking. And to me, that's success in a graduate program, is seeing students reach that level where they're really thinking critically about the problems and understanding it from multiple different angles and kind of saying, oh, well, if we improve this, if I do this different, then that's going to solve the problem I'm looking at, but there's another problem that's probably going to get worse. And where's the balance there? And how do I consider all those things? So, yeah.
Well, I do not think I can top those inspirational answers right there. So do all those things as a priority is what I would say. And then consider this practical approach. I think it's a great indication of success or a wonderful outcome if you get through one of these graduate programs with multiple outcomes, multiple utilities. And just one practical example of that is at the Citadel, you can often get your key graduate credential of interest, a master's degree in whatever area you had the original interest in. But then you can also rather efficiently here pick up other credentials or certifications in other areas. And so I would suggest people, again, think broadly about different directions their careers might take and use this as an opportunity, not just to get one graduate degree, but to think about earning other certifications while they're already in the habit of studying. Think about taking courses as electives that they might not otherwise have thought of taking, but add to their skill set or add to their career potential. So I think that's a successful use of your time as well.
Thank you. All great advice, and we appreciate you being on our panel. And for our students out there, take the advice and run with it. This is coming from the folks who are teaching classes here, and everything they said certainly rings true. With that, I'm going to let my panelists leave the stage, and I'm going to invite my colleague Shelby Sexton to the stage, and she's going to do a general information session for the CGC folks, for anyone who is either going through the admissions process or will be going through the admissions process.